This is DigiStyle with Kylie Bartlett.
Hello and welcome. My name is Kylie Bartlett, CEO of Digital Talent Group and the host of DigiStyle, where we discuss digital a little bit differently. Today I'm super excited to be joined by two amazing talented men. First up, Simon Martin, CEO of Starward Whisky, and secondly, Aruna Wick, who is the co-founder of Your Wills. Simon Martin, the CEO of Starward Whisky, who we're going to be talking about their award-winning whiskies, some that are even won medals, that are world-class, best in the world. And I couldn't think of a better topic to be talking about this morning on this freezing Monday morning in Melbourne than to be talking about whiskey. Welcome to the show, Simon.
Good morning, thanks for having me.
Have you had a little tibble this morning?
No, I drove into the studio, so I would only have a drink tonight.
Good. So tell us about Starward. I've been learning a lot over the weeks in preparation for this interview, but nothing comes better than hearing from the CEO. Tell us the backstory of Starward.
Great. Starward was the brainwave idea of a guy called David Vitale,
Yes.
who's a local Melbourne born and bred person. And in 2009, he had the idea to start his own whiskey brand and distillery. Here we are 11 years later, and we're now Australia's leading whiskey brand, whiskey made here in Australia, and we're now exporting around the world.
It's an incredible story. So had he always been a whiskey lover?
He actually was an IT guy and a programmer and worked at a university, like in a locked room programming, but actually found his reason for being, I think, which was to create a whiskey brand.
Interesting, having his whiskey while he was coding.
I don't know if he did that, but he's a great guy. He now lives in the US.
Oh, wow, so he's not even on our shores anymore.
No, so he's the sort of head of our business in the US. He's obviously the founder of the brand and the company as well. But how good is it to have an Australian as our ambassador on the ground in America, which was one of our focus markets.
Fantastic. And so was that when you came on board? Because I know you've got a strong beverage background as well, alcohol background.
That's right. So David moved to the United States in 2019.
Yes.
And I started just in November last year to sort of step in and take it further forward.
Fantastic. And where did the name Starward come from?
So it's a question I get asked a lot. Starward was part of David's vision, was to have a whiskey that sort of bent the rules, did things differently to how whiskey producers do it in Scotland, Ireland and America or anywhere else. And so his dream was to reach for the stars and to lean forward. So he sort of combined the words to Starward, leaning towards the stars.
I love it. A great story, because I was doing a bit of Googling to find out the name, and that's a fantastic way of explaining it. So reach for the stars.
That's it. And so everything we do has that ambition, a big picture vision to create our own story and our own way of making whiskey. And we think it's got a massive potential and appeal to consumers here in Australia, but also around the world who are looking for something new and different.
Interesting. I want to really open up and explore this whole difference. And from what I can tell, it seems like Starward are very much about this exclusivity rather than inclusive. And it's been very much a part of the brand rather than being mainstream, that you have done it a bit differently.
Yeah, we want to be a whiskey brand and whiskey product that appeals to everyone. And so we have different products made in different ways in our distillery just here in Port Melbourne. Some of them are more mainstream and made on a slightly bigger scale.
Yes.
They're the ones you'll find in retail stores around Australia.
Like the Twofold, yes?
Like the Twofold right here, which is our lead product, lead whiskey, a fantastic whiskey for drinking anyway, basically is how we say. If you want to have it straight, on ice, mixed, however you like.
And that's in mainstream, so you can find it at any good bottle shop.
Any great bar, restaurants, bottle shops around Australia, you'll be able to find that.
And this is the
Twofold
gold
product.
medal winner in San Francisco, if I remember.
Exactly right. It just won a gold medal at the San Francisco Spirits competition that was announced just last week, which is a fabulous recognition of the great quality in the bottle.
How amazing, coming out of Melbourne and to win an award like that.
It is. And so that's the product you'll be able to find pretty much everywhere.
Yes.
To talk to your point about exclusivity,
Yes.
we've got some really well, I should take a step back. Part of what we do and we think we're great at Starward is making some really interesting whiskies, ones that are different, innovative, and our consumers and collectors love that we do things differently.
So you're building a tribe, it sounds like, at the same time that people in general do things differently, which are lending themselves to this exclusive, a little bit quirkier than normal. And from going online, you've got a massive tribe, a massive following in particular on Instagram, which is what I want to unravel as well around how did that happen?
People now are looking for things interesting.
Yeah.
They want stories, they want an angle, a point of difference, and we've got that in spades. And so we have a product that we're famous for. It's almost like a little cult whiskey, which is this one here called our Starward Ginger Beer Cask Whiskey. And this one is only made in really limited volumes, but it's a really interesting flavour and taste from the casks that we use that used to have ginger beer in them.
Unbelievable.
And so that infuses flavour in on the
That's that
whiskey.
different angle you're talking about.
It is, and then so people look for it, they chase for it. Where can I find it? And we only release it once a year.
Aha, now talk to me about the Instagram campaign that you put around going into a ballot to actually buy, not get one for free, but
No,
buy.
that's right. So May is World Whiskey Day every year.
May
16th, sorry, I should say, is World Whiskey Day. So that's the day we release this each year. So we had a campaign ready to go. Seeing what was going on around the world, we thought we're still going to do what we do because consumers want to buy this whiskey.
And they're buying more whiskey, I'm sure, at the moment to kind of dull the pain of lockdown, right?
Well, people are enjoying our whiskies as much as ever, if not more, that's
Yes.
right. And so, knowing we only had 850 bottles available,
Well, okay, there's the exclusive.
850
Limited supply.
bottles, that's right, once a year, and a cult following, we made the decision to actually create this into a campaign to create talkability about Starward. And so what we did is through different channels in social media and our own direct channels to our loyal followers, tell people that we were going to create a ballot this year.
I love it.
Well, we wanted everyone to have a chance, and
Yeah.
an even chance, right? And so we didn't know how many people were going to enter the ballot.
So you got 850 bottles,
Yes.
exclusive, and then what happened?
The campaign went out on all of our social channels. We got a massive, massive response. So we got over 10 times the availability in people responding to the ballot saying, I'd like to buy it, please. So we could have sold like 10 times as much as we actually had.
But I think that exclusivity is what really created a lot of the buzz that I have got one of these exclusive bottles.
Exactly right.
It's kind of like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I've got the golden ticket.
And people know that it's not going to be available for another year.
Yeah.
And it's going to be as restricted next year. So the buzz, the talk, and the posts, and then it became like online discussion and chat around, have you got your email yet? Have you been told yet? Oh, I don't know if I'm going to get one. So it just created noise for a couple of weeks. That campaign ran, and then we responded back to the people who were successful, and the emails we got back were so thankful and glowing about having the opportunity to buy one of our bottles of
the
whiskey.
opportunity to buy a $119 bottle of 500 ml of whiskey.
That's right.
They
that's
are
right.
grateful for taking their money.
And as soon as they got their email saying, you've been a lucky chosen winner to be able to buy, the response and the speed to people to actually grasp that and take their order was amazing. Now, on the flip side, we've got a lot of people who are disappointed.
Yes. So what are
that
you
they
doing
missed
with
out.
what are you doing with those people so that there is some kind of consolation?
Well, there's only 850 bottles, so there's not a lot we can do to solve that. But we have brought them into the Starward family in terms of being able to offer them other whiskies that
Fantastic.
are interesting that are coming up.
Yeah, great.
They might not be ginger beer, but we have other interesting ones coming up later in the year. So, look, I think people understand, and it's fair.
And it's fun,
and it's good fun, and it's interesting again, which is what the brand's about.
And I think that's what you're saying about social media. It can't be what you would do in mainstream's not working these days. You have to have an interesting angle. You have to build a tribe. You have to be authentic. You have to be a bit different. Now, where do you see? I mean, how are the results been since lockdown and COVID with the sales? But where do you see this going? We're all starting to. Restrictions are being slightly lifted today. What are your predictions around e-commerce and where this is going?
Yeah, over the last 2 to 3 months, definitely in Australia, but also in the US, which is a big market for us. there has been a big increase in
Yes.
online purchasing for spirits in general, actually across the board in spirits. So in Australia, we've seen a dramatic increase, and that is people shopping directly with Starward, where you can come to us and buy directly from us, or through our retail partners who have an
Yes.
online presence. And so what we're hearing is that people are drinking not more, but they might be drinking a little bit more frequently because you're at home, you don't have to drive
And
to work.
that disposable income where you might have spent it in a restaurant is now, look, we've got a little bit more money now, let's invest in a nice quality whiskey. Are you seeing that there are some of the trends?
Absolutely, and that's where also our brand and products position quite well.
The brand
not
is
to-
exquisite, isn't it? It is, it's stunning.
Love it. Like this twofold bottle is $69. So it's a treat, but it's not like a ridiculously
range,
expensive
yeah.
bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
On the flip side, all of our great customers in on-premise in Australia and the US have obviously had a really difficult time. So we've been doing some things to support them as much as we can, and looking forward to them being able to reopen across Australia
yes.
and the US soon. And so a lot of people enjoy our whiskies when they're out at a bar or a pub or a
Oh,
restaurant.
I'm looking forward to trying them when we get to go to a bar and a pub. In particular, the one I want to talk about is the pre-mix
Yeah.
that has just won the best pre-mix in the world.
In the world.
For this
So,
little baby
Yeah,
here.
this again is super innovative and different. It's our Starward New Old Fashioned. So Old Fashioned is the most popular cocktail in the world, and we pre-make it at the distillery and bottle it and sell it as ready to serve, 10 cocktails in a bottle. And so this is not whiskey and Coke or anything like that. This is high quality,
Old-fashioned,
pre-made,
yeah.
old fashioned. And so it won the best pre-mixed cocktail in the world at the World Pre-Mix Awards in London just this month. And again, it's $49. You can find it in a lot of places.
Unbelievable. Go
So you think
Aussies.
10 cocktails in a bottle, what a great
Well,
idea.
that's if you measure it.
Well, all you need is a glass with ice and pour it on and you're done.
Amazing. And that's it. Can we buy that online as well as in
Yes.
retail
Yes, you
stores
can.
as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people have enjoyed that again in lockdown, because if I can't go to the bar and have my favourite bartender make
A
me a
cocktail.
cocktail,
I can have one at home.
exactly. And
Best served on ice, I hear.
best out of the fridge, nice and cold, on ice, great with food, great with a barbecue, great at summer, great in winter. It's a ripper of a product.
Fantastic, Simon. I've really enjoyed getting to know the Starward brand in this interview. But before you go, please,
Mm-hmm.
where can we find you? How can we get our hands on these little babies so we can all go and try them?
Okay, so you can find us at starward.com.au.
Yes.
And you can buy direct from the distillery there, or you can find us at all premium bottle shops around Australia. And obviously, I would encourage you, when you can safely, to go to those bars and restaurants and cafes
And support
pubs
support the
and
locals.
support Australian.
Yeah.
Right. So made here by an unbelievable team of dedicated distillers, brewers, and people making this great whiskey down in Port Melbourne.
Can you is it open to the public?
It normally is. At the
Yes,
moment, it's not.
but it will
When
be.
restrictions come off, we do have a bar down there in Port Melbourne where you can come and try our whiskies responsibly, have a little bit of food, and enjoy the distillery and the great smells and sounds that you get in a distillery. So please enjoy our
And
whiskey.
enjoy it, an Australian-made product. Another proud Aussie moment.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for your time,
No
Simon.
problem.
I very
Thank
much
you, Kylie.
appreciate
Thanks.
it.